Welcome. Let's answer one of the most frequent asked questions that I had since last year when I did the introduction program. For those familiar with my work, especially those that took the introductory 4-lesson course last year on Qigong, I basically do the original Zhou Dynasty type of Taoism, the Heaven Mountain tradition, and also got each one in it. Mainly, it consists of lying down Qigong, moving Qigong, standing Qigong, and sitting Qigong. And the lying is used for the basic level for better energetics and relaxed sleeping. Really good for people that are stressed out or have insomnia. But on the advanced level is for dream practice. Maybe in another episode I'll talk a bit more about that. And then we have moving Qigong. Moving Qigong is really to better your connection of up and down, increasing energy, reducing stress. Is mainly used as a warm-up to relax and still the mind and body, right? On an advanced level, on the other hand, actually I'll talk about that later, sorry. And then there's standing Qigong. That's mainly for the physical vitality, for the lower burner. And the reason why we stand a lot is to get physical vitality so we can do prolonged sitting. Prolonged sitting also has many levels. The first level is we want to still our mind and relax. The second level is emotional trauma. We want to release some negative emotions and repressed memory, emotional healing basically. Once we have that finally done, and it depends on a person, it could take months or years. Some people just stay at that level forever, which is fine because it's good to feel better, right? And then if someone chooses to go farther, then we enter the merging process, which I talked about in previous episodes. In all of these, it starts off with a task we focus on. But as you progress, they all end up doing spontaneous movements, which again, I've talked about in the previous episode. So everything is multi-layered, right? But if you look at it that way, just in the drills alone, you have laying down, where there's 2 methods. You have walking Qigong, which is 1 method. And I'm just talking about the first year program. And then you have moving Qigong, which I'm only going to be showing 1 set this year. And then we have the standing Qigong, which has many postures. And they're all non-doing practice. Then we have the sitting practices, which we do it from sitting in a chair. I'm going to be doing all the progression for kneeling down. We're going to be doing the medical Qigong, and we're going to be doing it from a lotus position. So if you look at all this stuff laid out in the first year course, that's a lot of stuff to do. And most people have family obligation, full-time work, or they go to school. So a question that I get over and over and over again is, hey, that's great. I experiment with your program. It works great. I'm feeling better. But how do I fit that into a day? It's not possible because I got all this stuff in my life, right? And that's a very good question. So I would like to give you a brief rundown. You got standing practice mainly, and you got sitting practice. The laying down practice is mainly more of a supplement, and the moving practice is really what we use to warm ourselves up, so to speak, in terms of stillness of mind. We use moving Qigong for standing, and we also use it for sitting. We always move before we enter stillness. So the main practice really, besides the warm-up of moving, is really standing practices with many progressions, and also sitting practice. So if you look at it that way, from our practice point of view in Chinese medicine and also internal alchemy, the standing practice is really for a lower burner, for physical vitality, mainly in Chinese. And the sitting practice is really for stillness of mind, and on a higher level, emotional healing, and on the highest level, merging, or knowing your true nature, which is called Sing in Chinese. For the convenience of this podcast, I'm just going to call it spirituality. So basically, you have the physical vitality, energetic, boosting energy stuff, the standing, and then we have the spiritual stuff for sitting. So if you have a limited time to train per day, then classically what you can do is just start with standing, or you can start with sitting, either a 90-day cycle or a 100-day cycle. So you might do standing for 100 days or 90 days. In Taoism, they say 90-day cycle, but in Buddhist or Shaolin tradition, they'll say 100-day training. It doesn't really matter. 90 and 10 days, 100 days is pretty much 3 months, which is a standard time for your nervous system to rewire itself fully. So you can start a 90-day cycle, right? You do 90 days of standing, then you do 90 days sitting, then you go back to 90 days of standing, then you go back to 90 days sitting. So that's one way to do it. Another way, if you're really fussy about numbers, you can do 100 days of standing, and then 100 days of sitting, then 100 days of standing, and 100 days of sitting. So that's one way you can train if you don't have a lot of time. You rotate your training, right? Which one do you start with, standing or sitting? So you have to make a quick assessment. Like, are you the type of guy that's really healthy? Physically, you're strong, but emotionally, you don't feel good. You're anxious, you're depressed, you're pissed off. Like I go to my gym anyways. I do weight training sometimes. Every week I go to my gym and I see people. They're ripped, right? They got six-pack. They're strong. There's no doubt in my mind that physically they're strong. But if I look at their face, probably 9 people out of 10 I would say are suffering from stress or anxiety or repressed anger. They don't look happy at all. And sometimes I eavesdrop of them talking on the phone or talking to other people in the gym. Yeah, people are not too happy. Even though physically they're healthy, emotionally they're, sometimes they're a mess, right? So that would be an example of how that person should probably start with sitting, not standing. On the other hand, some people are, emotionally they're really happy, but they have a lot of pain everywhere, right? Physically, they're not in the best shape of their life kind of thing. So that person should start with standing. So when you look at the 90-day cycle, like not start 90 days standing, then go to 90 days sitting, or go to 90 days sitting and then go to 90 days standing, main question is, Adam, which one do I start with? So the best I can answer that is what I just say. Are you physically more healthy or emotionally, mentally more healthy? And another option you can do, some people is, they know for sure for decades they've been emotionally happy, but they're physically messed up. In that case, they can just do standing for a year. So that's another way you can train, right? There's no hard rules for this. You just got to listen to your nervous system. Or the opposite is true. You're a trained athlete, you've been really healthy, you have done qigong before, tai chi before, yoga before, you're great, but physically and mentally and spiritually, you feel a void, you don't feel good, you're emotionally screwed up. And that's okay. Then just do sitting, nothing else. Do that for a year. So that's another way you can train, right? Some people have a lot of time to train. In that case, you can do standing and sitting and laying down and walking and moving qigong all on the same day, right? So how you train really depending on the individual. You can't really, have a one hard rule, because I know people are looking for this bulletproof program, but I don't think that exists. Every individual is different, right? Also, the amount of minutes you have is also pretty very important. If someone's like, Adam, I got about one session a day. I got about half an hour a day. What should I do? Well, my first question would be like, well, are you gaining more towards the physical or the spiritual? Because half an hour a day is not enough to do both. And the guy's like, hey man, I really want to start with standing, because emotionally I'm actually a pretty happy guy, but physically I'm not doing too well. I'm like, okay, then let's start with standing for 90 days straight. Then we'll rotate it into sitting if necessary. Okay. So this person has 90 days of standing. He only got half an hour a day. Then standing it is. But some people will go, hey, I only got 10 minutes a day. I only got 15 minutes a day. I got 3 kids. I got 2 jobs. I got this, and this. 10 minutes a day. What should I do, Adam? And I get questions like this all the time, right? And I'll be like, okay, do you really only have 10 minutes a day? And they go, yeah, 10 minutes all I got. I said, well, then moving qigong, not post-training. Because post-training takes longer for your body to dial in. Moving qigong is way quicker to feel your stuff. Standing is a lot more powerful, post-training. So they want to do post-training, but 10 minutes is not enough. And it's better to settle with just movement. You'll get more out of it, even though standing is more powerful, right? So that is also a pretty important thing. But some people will go, hey, I got like 2 sessions a day. I can probably do half an hour in the morning and half an hour before I go to bed. Well, now that guy's a little bit different. Are you like, you want to concentrate more on standing or physical vitality because you may have chronic fatigue or something, then both sessions should be standing. If on the other hand, this person's a pretty balanced individual, then you can probably do standing in the morning and do sitting at night. So that's another way you can do it, right? Or like maybe this person just wants to do sitting. That's all he wants to do. And he got 3 sessions a day. Then you test the guy's hips. Should he be doing the sitting stuff, kneeling stuff, or half lotus? Maybe this guy's physically pretty healthy and he can focus on sitting 3 times a day, half an hour, 3 sessions. That person can do lotus position all 3 times because it's the most powerful. But maybe in the same scenario, this guy's got 3 times a day to sit and you got half an hour per time, but he's not unhealthy physically, but he's also have a hard time staying awake. In that case, maybe he can do sitting in a chair for like the first 2 sessions and save the lotus position for last. Because the more you cut out your arms and legs, like in the lotus position type of sitting, the easier it is for you to fall asleep. Standing has the most physical fatality. There's arms involved and there's legs involved, obviously, because you're standing, right? Kneeling position and lotus position sittings isolate the central channel for spirituality, but it cuts out the arms and legs. Most of the arm position is done in a way that it doesn't tax your body, your arms. Same thing with the sitting. You're cutting out your legs by kneeling or by sitting in lotus position to isolate the central channel. Sitting on a chair, on the other hand, you still use your arms just like standing practice, and your legs are still extended, rooted to the floor. So in essence, when you're standing, it's mostly about your physical fatality. When you're sitting in a kneeling position, in a lotus position, it's mostly about your spirituality. But when you do the work of sitting in a chair, it's kind of in the middle between the two. So it's really good for people that want to concentrate on sitting spiritual practice, but they're not quite strong enough physically, but they're not quite physically sick either. Then sitting in a chair will be the best. As you can see, there is no best program for everybody, right? Like me, I'm very blessed because I can I can train all day. That's been my lifestyle since I was a martial artist. So I do 2.5 hours of practice in the morning where I do my standing and my sitting in a chair and kneeling and lotus position. But in the afternoon, I just do a little bit of movement practice and I just do the lotus position. Before bed, I don't do anything but the kneeling and the lotus position. So I'm always changing things and I do everything per day. So that comes, I have a different lifestyle, right? Because I teach for a living. So everything is different depending on the individual. So I can't emphasize enough, the real solution is, if you can, try to get personal coaching. Because trying to read about this or watch podcasts or whatever and try to do it yourself is easier to get a good mentor. Everything I can do is because of my teachers and my mentors. They really help me out. To have personalized coaching and custom-made scheduling, including how to plan your personal program, is the most important thing. Because when you do non-doing practice in Qigong, you're not trying to collect endless tricks and endless methods. It is more of a community for you to grow. So every day you're doing the same thing. You're not collecting new tricks. Every day is the same thing, but every day the experience is completely different. So the container doesn't change. The energy and the experience change, right? That being the case of a community, is very important to have personalized coaching so you can have your own personal practice. The whole point is to get to the stage where you have your own personal practice. That's different than your classmates. And that's the beautiful thing. So now you can be anywhere in the world and you have the capability of practicing by yourself because you have your own personal program and you don't need to rely on anybody. That kind of freedom is really important in Taoism. In fact, in the ancient days, people would go up a mountain, right, to get support and to get instruction, and they'll learn from the teacher. And then they leave the mountain and live their life in the village. But they have already developed their own personal practice. So they're not always codependent, right? It's the same as the Buddhist Sangha, right? You join a Buddhist community to get support to learn this stuff. But when you're not in the Sangha, it's good to have that community and support. But when you're not there, when you're out in daily life, you develop enough. You have your own personal practice that you can deal with stuff, release stuff, and still cultivate. So that's very important. So look at it like a personal practice based on personal adjustment and personalized coaching. If you look at it like that, you won't be codependent and you'll always have something that fits your mind and body instead of memorizing some system. All right, guys, that's it for today. Time passed by quick. Before you go, I'm very happy to let you guys know the program is 100% launched. You can go to the website, adamchanlive. Go follow the link below in the description. And I hope to see you in class. The program's, I can't believe we did it. I want to thank all the volunteers and the whole crew for building the website and getting everything ready. Just to review, the program's going to have everything I talked about so far in the last 12 podcasts. It's going to have lying down, sitting down, standing, and sitting. All the stuff that we talked about, the merging, the releasing, the emotional healing, all the progression, the entire program we're going to be doing. Every week's going to have one live stream class. Every class is 45 minutes long. If we end up going for an hour, hour and a half, there's no extra charge. Half the class is going to be guided qigong meditation. The other half is going to be live Q&A for personalized coaching. Also, one time a month, there'll be a free 1 hour live Q&A. There's going to be a free student forum where you can drop in your questions, which I can answer, or I can film the answer for the student in the next lesson. For those that have missed class, don't worry about it. You can watch all archive class in the free student library. Also, once a year, I'm going to be doing a live retreat, in-person retreat in Vancouver. Anyone that's been on my website for more than 3 months is automatically going to get 80% off. There's also going to be a founding member discount price, a forever discount. I'm probably forgetting a bunch of stuff, but you can go to the website and read about it. I'm just so stoked that I can't believe we did it. All right, guys, hope to see you there. See you next time.